Greetings, viewers! Night Eye here, bringing you another commentary. So, word got out that Velma from Scooby-Doo Mysteries Incorporated is a lesbian, and this got varied reactions. Some people cheered, people like me simply went, huh. Neat. And then you have the subject of today's commentary, Jeremy, aka The Quartering. He's a commentator who has opinions on things. None of said opinions are very well presented, however, and all in all attempts to convince his audience that said opinions are indeed objective fact. He's mostly known for his hot takes on Twitter, and videos he's done on She-Ra and the Princesses of Power and Thundercats Roar, but also known for pumping out several videos a day. Yeah. He's one of those quantity over quality type of guys. He put out a video called Scooby-Doo Goes Woke and Nobody's Buying It. Can we just talk about that title? Jeremy, just what is getting woke to you? I ask because you seem to unironically use it when discussing topics that it doesn't apply to. See his Thundercats Roar video. As far as I know, Mysteries Incorporated doesn't fit any criteria of wokeness. Honestly, I think it's just sort of become a buzzword for anti-SJWs. Anyways, let's get right into it.
Well, it looks like J.K. Rowling isn't the only one that can retroactively make their characters more woke. This time, it's Scooby-Doo. Now, I should say, and I will always say, because you literally can't make fun of this stuff as, well, I guess as a straight person without having a vocal minority of the internet misrepresented as if you have any problem at all. They'll say, oh, you just don't like gay people or something.
I mean, when you posted your hot take on Twitter, you called the finale of She-Ra a disgrace to the franchise, even though you admitted you never watched She-Ra growing up, and made a whole video where you claimed Netflix had an agenda, and said that the show sucked because of alleged agenda. I can hardly blame people for coming to that conclusion.
I get it all the time. I got it with She-Ra when I made fun of that. Let me be very clear. I don't care. Now, if you wanted to watch She-Ra, or, the show itself, and people will always twist my criticisms on the show. They will bend and twist and just get so, they get so mad when you talk about a particular television show aimed at children pushing an agenda. That is exactly what the Netflix She-Ra did. That is not undifferent than the original She-Ra, which pushed an agenda, except that their agenda was selling toys. The agenda She-Ra pushed was far different and far more interesting, one that probably should be aimed at a different audience than a kid's cartoon, but that's not for me to decide. I have the freedom to watch a television show or to not watch a television show, so life goes on. For whatever reason, though, when you criticize the abomination that was the She-Ra cartoon, people on Twitter lose their minds.
There's nothing wrong with She-Ra. There's freaking nothing wrong. That's just freaking stupid.
However, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't point out how ridiculous this is and just how clearly virtue signaling it is. Now, look, don't take my word for it. How about Sophia? Sophia Narwitz saying, none of this is in the show. Hollywood is just like tossing out scraps to the gays because they'll often react as if it means they're special. You can see, because they actively defend tokenism. They don't care if it's pandering. The representation is more important than how it's implemented. Why can't they give us some new characters that are gay, lesbian, trans? Why do they keep taking established characters and changing them? To be fair, no one would watch or like them because they can't write them without being obnoxious, on the nose, fourth wall breaking, so they resort to hijacking and tokenism.
And nowhere on Sophia's Twitter does it say that she works for Cartoon Network or that she's part of the show. Notice how he isn't going towards the article in her tweet, and is simply reading off responses to her post. This is something Jeremy does a lot, showing off people's other hot takes on Twitter and treating them like they back up his criticisms, when in reality it's just him looking for a confirmation bias.
I mean, it's nobody's buying this. Now, except, of course, James Gunn, who wrote in a celebratory virtue signaling way, I tried. It said, somebody, please make our live action lesbian Velma dreams come true. Me too. I mean, absolutely.
Which is why you just accused him of virtue signaling.
Do you even listen to yourself when you talk?
I drift in and out.
James Gunn says, in 2001, Velma was explicitly gay in my initial script, but the studio just kept watering it down, becoming ambiguous. The version that they filmed, then nothing, the released version. And finally having a boyfriend.
Yeah, that's because that's what Warner Brothers Studios wanted. In the original script, Velma was indeed going to be a lesbian, but it goes beyond that. Shaggy being a hippie was going to be a lot more obvious, and the movie as a whole was going to be a lot more adult. But the studio wanted it to be a family picture, and the resulting film kind of just didn't please anyone. The movie even gave Velma a love interest that didn't even get a name, and some people wondered if Velma even needed a love interest to begin with. Hey, post-editing I had idea. Originally, I was going to skip over Jeremy listing off all of Velma's previous love interests.
Now, if you wanted to make the argument that Velma was bi, I think that would have been smarter, simply because there's just so much history. I mean, I went deep, boys and girls. I went into the Scooby-Doo wiki to just look at some of the love interests totally gay Velma has had. Bo Neville, a detective investigating the Monsker Island disappearance. Initially, he and Velma very much just like each other, but by the end of their stay, seemed to be getting along very well, especially when he said that he wanted to write detective novels, although she made it clear that it was detective novels she liked and not the particular detective himself. How about Ben Ravencroft, a famous author of horror stories? He initially appeared kind of a bit shy, and he and Velma developed feelings for each other. But once she saw the greedy, cruel, power-hungry person he was, she became genuinely angry and did everything she could to stop him, okay? Still showed interest in...
But I thought much later, hold on, it's the Velma from Mysteries Incorporated that was announced to be a lesbian. The Velma from Zombie Island and the Witch's Ghost and the Velma from that show are not the same character. And I think anyone who has followed the Scooby-Doo franchise would agree with me on that. And if anyone's going to say this messes up continuity with the character, what continuity? Mysteries Incorporated is its own thing. Unless you want to say the Velma and Be Cool Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo and Guess Who are the same Velma from Mysteries Incorporated. Oh, and this thing from Johnny Bravo? Yeah, Johnny Bravo has no continuity. I only bring this up because it's one of the examples I see people having used about Velma being bisexual.
That's more than a handful of male love interests. And of course, you know, the on-screen love interest that was Shaggy.
Okay, that one I can give you. Since at the start of the series, Velma and Shaggy are in a relationship. However, it is a secret one, kept secret from Daphne and Fred, and was broken up because Velma wanted Shaggy to choose between either her or Scooby, and Shaggy predictably chose the Mushmouth Mutt. It kind of didn't help that Velma was more than just a little domineering in the relationship either.
By the way, why didn't they do this in June? Why didn't they come out and do it during Pride Month? That seems odd.
Well, my dear Quartering, I can only guesstimate was that they knew there'd be people like this balking at such a reveal and claiming they were only doing so to pander to the LGBT community. And considering people are indeed doing that now, I'd say it's a theory that carries some weight. It doesn't matter when a character comes out of the closet, there will always be that crowd of people who will blow it up into a negative thing when it happens.
Here you have CBR saying, yes, Scooby-Doo Mysteries Incorporated Velma is a lesbian. Producer confirms. The producer confirms it. Oh, okay. That probably wasn't even alive when the show was first created. But I mean, Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated producer Tony Cervone, or Cervoni, just because it sounds funnier, confirmed a long-standing fan theory by explaining that the show's incarnation of classic Scooby-Doo character Velma Dinkley was in fact written as a gay woman. What fan theory?
Welcome to the internet, Jeremy. There's been talk about whether or not Velma is a lesbian for years. Venture Brothers even parodied this with the character Val.
Cervone interjected during an argument between two Scooby-Doo fans in the comment section of an Instagram post, which had depicted Velma and the character Marcy Fletch in a romantic relationship. One commenter decried the post on the grounds that Mystery Inc. saw Velma in a relationship with Shaggy Rogers, while another cited previous relationships with the show pertaining to how Velma and Marcy were ostensibly both bi, and how there were plans for Velma to break up with Shaggy. Two people who didn't work on the show talking about it, obviously. It's at this point when he chimed in. I've said this before, but Velma in Mystery Inc. is not bi. She's gay, the producer wrote. We always planned on Velma acting a little off and out of character while she was dating Shaggy because the relationship was wrong for her, and she had an unspoken difficulty with the why. There are hints about why in the episode with the mermaid, and if you follow the entire Marcy arc, it seems clear. It seems as clear as we would make it 10 years ago.
Sexual exploration is a thing. You don't just wake up one morning deciding you're this or that. You need to experiment to see what feels right for you and your partner. This has been a thing in media and real life for years now. The producer even said in the article that the relationship Velma had with Shaggy was meant to feel wrong. Not that you seem to have picked up on that.
Despite apparently not being allowed by the network to address Velma's orientation in more explicit terms at the time, because Mr. Inc. ran from 2010 to 2013. Cerrone explained, "I don't think Marcy and Velma had time to act on their feelings during the main timeline, but post-reset, they are a couple. You cannot like it, but that was our intention." Well, I'm real happy for Velma. I mean, I'm happy that she's found out who she is, and I do think it's just funny. It's funny. Who cares, right?
I mean, you seem to. Otherwise, why did you title the video the way you did? Unless you do want to ironically use woke as a buzzword.
But, I mean, they won't stop till every straight white character is... Yeah, that's a spicy one. Gay and black.
And you know this for a fact, do you, Jeremy? I'm honestly surprised you didn't pump out a video after the Adventure Time finale, where you made the whole focus about the kiss between Marceline and Bubblegum. Ending it here, since there isn't that much more worth commenting on. I am actually at a loss as what to say, mainly because I know the Quartering doesn't respond well to criticism. More than likely, he'll just ignore me. But at the end of the day, what's important is I provided counter-arguments to his video. This is Night Eye saying thanks for watching, and please share your thoughts with me.